This is the Luminkey 65, a gasket-mounted 65%. This is a SingaKBD Kohaku, a gasket-mounted 65%. This is the keycult 265, a gasket-mounted 65%. All of these are 65% form factor keyboards, and they're all gasket-mounted CNC aluminum. But one of these is obviously not like the others. Today, we're looking at what makes one keyboard literally 10 times as valuable as another, and why I'm personally a huge fan of the direction this hobby is going. If you've been in the hobby for a little while, the Kohaku and the keycult both need no introduction. But if you're confused as to why these boards regularly go for over $1,000 on Mech Market, well, keycult used to be a high-end mechanical keyboard that really blew up when Teha Types built a custom keyboard for pro gamer Tfue.
I'm just kidding.
Unfortunately, keycult has fallen out of favor lately due to their abhorrent quality control and unbelievably long wait times. On the other hand, SingaKBD is a Malaysian keyboard design studio that achieved cult-like status for the quality and comparatively affordable retail pricing on their Unicorn 60 and Kohaku 65 designs. Coupled with COVID lockdowns and free-flowing stimulus checks in mid-2020, the keyboard hobby experienced an unprecedented period of growth. And the effects of those growing pains are still being felt to this day. Having been suckered into at least 2 GMK exit scams and 2 essentially unusable keyboard builds over that span for over $1,000 of my own money, I've personally felt the pain that so many of us experience from this dark period in the history of the hobby. But the other really crappy dark side of the explosive but probably unsustainable growth of the mechanical keyboard space was inflation. Hyped boards like the Geonworks F1s, the A7iv, the Joly Epic, and the boards already mentioned here regularly sold for hundreds and sometimes even thousands of dollars more than their retail price. Well, now it's 2024, and thankfully the hype in the hobby has mostly died down. But we still haven't answered the original question. What makes one keyboard worth $150 and others worth $1,500? The Luminkey 65 is a gasket-mounted 65% with a polycarbonate plate stock with the option to pick up a few different plate materials. Interestingly, the stock polycarbonate build requires plate mount stabilizers and only offers 6.25U spacebar support, while you can buy a multi-layout polycarbonate or other material plate separately that accepts PCB mount stabilizers. It's a curious design decision from Luminkeys, but I can't complain given the plate mount stabilizers that are included in both the bare bones and the fully built kits are perfectly lubed and have no rattle or clicking during my testing. The PCB is 1.6mm thick tri-mode wireless PCB with no flex cuts, and as usual from Luminkeys, the board comes with several layers of foam that you can use to shape the sound. Let's take a listen to the board in its stock pre-built form with the gateron Sylva long pole linears that we've previously seen in other Luminkeys reviews. Here's the typing test. So in its stock pre-built form, I'm always blown away at how complete the Luminkeys boards are, and I really feel like you're getting endgame quality for the Keychron price. But as we all know, PE foam covers a multitude of sins, so let's take a listen to the board with both bottom case foam layers removed. Here we go. The board has a naturally clacky type sound, and it's got a pretty simple construction that reminds me a lot of the SingaKBD 40%. But that brings us back to the original question once again. What makes one CNC aluminum brass weight keyboard better than another? From a feature perspective, the Luminkeys actually beats both the Kohaku and the keycult because of its tri-mode wireless PCB. It arguably has better customizability as well, and it has the benefit of being an in-stock sale versus a group buy, so much less chance of getting exit scammed. Now, certain aspects of certain boards, like the fact that keycults are machined in the USA, would explain a higher retail price, but we all already know that the aftermarket price of certain boards is solely due to their hype and scarcity, both of which I believe are bad for the hobby with a capital H. Let me explain. The mechanical keyboard hobby as a whole, even after its explosive growth, is very niche. Some would even say the hobby's already dying. But to me, the flood of high-quality, lower-cost keyboards that have taken the market by storm since mid-2023 is a great thing. At my day job, I've got a few keyboards in the rotation, and almost on a daily basis, I have coworkers comment on how much they love my boards. 3 years ago, if seeing my board got someone interested in making their own, the relatively high cost of entry turned people off immediately. These days, I can easily recommend boards like this Luminkeys 65 for a refined, desirable type feel and sound for under $200. Is a board like a Geonworks or a Singa objectively nicer or better quality? At this point, I'd say maybe not really. And at this point, it's also notable that the most innovation I've seen in keyboard design in the last 2 years or so came from budget boards like Qwertykeys and Neo keyboards with their magnetic connectors, and not from the high-end boutique board designers and vendors. So overall, I think the hobby is alive and thriving, and it's thanks to boards like this Luminkeys 65 destroying the stock X-ification of mechanical keyboards, which I once again think is a great thing. Check out some more keyboard content here. I'm MakerMods, and I'll catch you in the next video.